Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley of Ashley Plants and Reads, and today I'm going to be sharing with you our Independent Bookstore Day haul. Saturday was National Independent Bookstore Day, so we took a trip to our local independent bookstore, our favorite here in the Sacramento area, and we took the whole family. It was our first outing as a family of four to a brick and mortar store since the beginning of quarantine. You know, we felt very safe. They were limiting the number of people in the store at any time, requiring masks, requiring them to be worn properly, so over the nose, and hand sanitizer, all the things. So we felt very comfortable, and it was just a true joy and delight to browse a bookstore again. It has been so long, and it was really great to watch the kids browse in a bookstore too. They're finally, especially Milo, he's finally kind of old enough and has enough reading skill to browse on his own without really needing a lot of help from mom and dad. So that was awesome. And we did come home with a lot of books. So I thought I would share that with you here today. So I'll start with the ones that the kids picked out. They love graphic novels. That is primarily what my son, he can read them totally on his own. My daughter loves having them read to her. My husband is mostly the graphic novel reader in our house. So on nights that he's doing bedtime, that's what he reads. And the nights that I do bedtime, I do the chapter book read alouds. That's more in my wheelhouse. So the kids picked out the second and third in a graphic novel series that they've been enjoying called Phoebe and Her Unicorn. So they got Unicorn on a Roll and Unicorns versus Goblins, and they have not been able to put these down since they got them. The second we got home, they sat down on the couch and looked through them for like 30 minutes, and that was it was really awesome. I think it's actually like a comic strip that has lasted for such a long time that there's like 10 books in this series now or whatever. So anyway, the kids love it. The unicorn's name is Marigold Heavenly Nostrils, which, I mean, what kid isn't gonna have a complete giggle fit about that? And so they just, get into these adventures, and the kids love them. So that's what they chose. All right, so the next stack is kind of what my husband and I picked out for our own personal reading. So my husband chose An American Sunrise, poems by Joy Harjo. She's the current poet laureate of the United States. My husband loves buying poetry. He usually ends up picking up a volume of poetry, I feel like, every time we go to the bookstore. Joy Harjo is the first Native American poet laureate of the United States, and she's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is awesome because my dear friend Hannah, who I mentioned in my 3 Books I Love, 1 Book I Don't video, is also from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was able to pick up her book at my local independent bookstore, which just thrilled me to no end. This is her young adult fantasy debut. She's from Tulsa. Turns out it was the bestseller in her category in the state of Oklahoma, and I'm just tickled for her. It's been out a couple weeks now, but and this is actually my 3rd copy of it, but I just had to buy it at my local independent bookstore on National Independent Bookstore Day. And if you follow me on Instagram, you saw I posted a picture of me buying it in the store because I will never get over seeing her name on a real life book in a real life bookstore. It's just amazing. So I've not yet finished it. I plan to finish it tonight. It is as good as I thought it would be, maybe even better. The world building is just so great, and the characters are so delightful, so charming, and I'm just in love with them, and I'm in love with her, and I just like am grinning the whole time I'm reading it because it's my friend. She wrote a book and I'm reading her words. They're in my hands. And I'll never get over it. So more coming on that in my August recap video, but so I had to pick one of those up. And then we also picked up You Have Arrived at Your Destination by Amor Tolls. Not quite sure how to pronounce that, but every year for National Bookstore Day, Independent Bookstore Day, there's a small little volume that is printed and signed specifically for Independent Bookstore Day. And so that's what this one is. It is signed. We love Amor Tolls. He wrote Gentleman in Moscow and Rules of Civility. And so this is a short story and my husband has already read it. He enjoyed it. So I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet because I've been focused on Ignite the Sun. So those were our choices. And then I did pick up a few read alouds and other things for homeschooling and just to have read alouds with the kids. So let's see, I'll start with this one. It's called Fault Lines in the Constitution, The Framers, Their Fights, and the Flaws That Affect Us Today by Cynthia Levinson and Sanford Levinson. They're a married couple, and it's a little advanced, I think, for the ages that my kids are now, but I think this is great to have on hand because the framers were human and they were all men, white men at that. And so there are going to be flaws in the Constitution, and I believe that there are. And I just think this is going to be great to have on hand to, help educate the kids as they get older. And it's going to be great I think adults would really benefit from reading something like this, especially now. This was an unexpected find, and I was really, that's the beauty of browsing a bookstore, is stumbling across books that you knew nothing about and picking them up. So that is that one. Like I said, a little advanced for my 5 and 6 year old right now, but we're going to keep this on hand for when they start learning about civics and government and U.S. history, whether that is here at home or in their public school. Either way, I'm going to feel I need to supplement with some things. So that's that one. I realized as I was planning out reading assignments and stuff for our homeschool that we did not have, I think my sister ended up with my childhood copies of Shel Silverstein. So I picked up a copy of Where the Sidewalk Ends. This is just a classic. There's a poem in here that I specifically wanted to have because I knew my kids would enjoy it. Particularly, I have a great memory of my dad and my cousin Andrew reading this poem and then riffing on it for like an hour. He was probably about my son's age now, and so I remember how tickled they both were about it. I know my dad will get a kick out of doing the same thing with Milo and Adelaide. So it's The Planet of Mars, the title of the poem. Here's the picture, the illustration, and they just couldn't get enough of his head and face on his butt, and so of course they just riffed on that because he was a 6-year-old boy. And then the last two are some read alouds that I weirdly did not have in my collection. Don't know why, but first one is Charlotte's Web, which, do I even need to say anything about this? It's a classic. And we finished Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White recently, and I think they're just really gonna love Charlotte's Web also. So picked up that one, and then I picked up Beezus and Ramona. I think who doesn't love a spunky girl? And Ramona is classic. So that's that one too. That is all of the books we picked up on National Independent Bookstore Day. And I am just thrilled that we got to browse a bookstore again, and not just any bookstore, but our local independent bookstore, and pick up some great books and support a dear friend. It was a great way to spend Saturday. So support your local independent bookstore, support writers, especially new writers who are releasing books in a pandemic. So that's gonna do it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you feel so inclined. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Bye.